this is a super exciting Facebook Live for me. I am exactly 2 weeks postpartum, and so excited to introduce the main BBM community to our newest family member. Before I get started, if you guys can let me know that the audio is working on this Facebook Live, that would be great. We are having some Facebook audio issues, so if you can just let me know if you can hear me okay before I jump in and get started, that would be amazing. Elizabeth is here. Hello, hello. Sarah is here. I'm topping up the babe. I fed her before going live, and of course, as soon as I set up the phone to go live, she was like, no, I'm fussy, I'm wide awake, and I need some more. You can hear me good. Okay, great. So I am exactly 2 weeks postpartum, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet the baby. This is something that I usually do after we have babies, is introduce them to the community and answer your questions, pregnancy, birth, postpartum questions. So I'm gonna, let me just stealthily pop her off the boob, shall we? You can hear me okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Audio is good today. Yay. It's a good day for a good day, right? Newborns are very unpredictable. So this is our not so little nugget. And you're in luck because she is wide awake. Wide awake. This is Miss Riley Ray. Oh. Say hello, little babe. Say hello. And one of the first questions that we get asked is, OMG, do all of your babies have that much hair when they're born? And the answer to that is yes. All of the kids, with the exception of Finley, have been born with a full head of dark hair. And they actually get that from me. I was born the same way. I was 10 pounds 2 ounces when I was born, but via C-section. She was 10-1 and I had a vaginal birth. So I'm going to go through kind of the questions that I've been asked so far most frequently and haven't had a chance to answer. But if you want to rapid fire questions at me about her, or again, pregnancy, birth, postpartum, I am literally here for it. And I want to preface this by saying that all of the things that I share with this community are my own experience, or things that I have found as a 6-time mom to be the most helpful or useful or effective tools for mental and physical wellness, postpartum or pregnancy or what have you. Hi, you looking at mom. Why did you look at dim with all of those double chins? So Riley was born on June 9th. We've already covered the hair question. In terms of delivery, she was our 4th home birth. And I'm a huge advocate for women choosing how they want to bring their children into the world, and just having the options and the education and not going with the known and familiar, because the known and familiar isn't always the right choice for you. And so I want to just touch on the pregnancy a little bit before I go into the birth, and how the home birth went. The video birth, so we have a birth photographer at our births, and we do a birth video. You can go to YouTube and search Bikini Body Mommy home birth, and you'll see both Arwen and Everly's birth. And her birth video will be coming out after we get everything loaded for the next 90-day challenge, which is starting on August 10th. So if you haven't joined that yet, today's your last day to get your 2 bonus gifts. I can put in a link in the description of this video for you to join. It's called Fall in Love with Fitness. We have to get the mindset workbook and the 90-day workbook, the 90-day journal, and the 90-day meal plan all loaded, and then Jason can switch gears to her birth video. So that's definitely coming. Oh, she's got the hiccups. So pregnancy, you guys. For those of you who have been in the community long enough, you know that I make big babies and I bake them really fast. None of my kids have been born later than 38 weeks. So, in fact, she's the 4th one to be born at 37 weeks on the nose. So, yeah, 37-week 10-pound babies. And the female body is just absolutely incredible. And most of my pregnancy and like in the past has been there's been like I've always been somebody who's gained a lot of weight in pregnancy, and we're talking like 60 to 80 pounds. No gestational diabetes. I kind of rode the line of gestational diabetes. No hypertension, no high risk issues, which allowed me to have a home birth. But I just make big babies and I gain a lot of weight. And it took me a long time to try to understand that and really settle into the fact that my body is just going to do what it's going to do. You legitimately have no control over certain aspects of your hormones and things. And for whatever reason, my body gains a lot of weight. This pregnancy, however, was completely different for me. This baby and our last are 15 and a half or 16 months apart. The last time I had kids that close together, you guys, I was 18, 19 years old. My first two were 15 and a half months apart. And in getting pregnant that quickly after my last, I didn't have a chance to lose the pregnancy weight. And so I came into this pregnancy for the first time ever weighing the most I had ever weighed in a pregnancy, which was really challenging mentally for me to wrap my head around. And I know that's relatable for so many other women in this community who either hold off getting pregnant because you want your body to look or feel a certain way or be a certain size or be a certain weight, or for people who the pregnancy happens sooner or maybe unexpectedly, and you're not in a place in your life physically where you feel like you're at your best to be able to support that pregnancy. And again, the human body is incredible. What's meant to be is meant to be, and whether you come into the pregnancy weighing the most you've ever weighed in your life, or whether you are at your most optimum fighting weight or whatever it is, your body is designed to grow your baby the way that it needs to be grown. And so for me, this pregnancy, what was really different for the first time ever in my life was that coming into it at my heaviest, I was so worried I was going to gain like another 60 to 80 pounds on top of the 60 that I hadn't lost yet. And instead, the most random thing happened, and I barely gained any weight at all. In fact, I know now that I probably lost weight my pregnancy. And people say to me, why do you think that is? Did you do anything different? And the answer is no. All of my pregnancies I've been active. A lot of people are like, yeah, but this is the first pregnancy where you were that pregnant and you filmed a 90-day challenge. Well, no, my last pregnancy, I filmed a 40-week pregnancy series, which you guys can click the link in the description of this video and check out. It's the only pregnancy series in the world of its kind. A different workout every week of pregnancy, pregnancy-specific workouts, mat Pilates, bands, chair workouts, ball workouts. Every single week I worked out. I've been active all of my pregnancies. This pregnancy was no exception. Did I do anything different nutritionally to not gain as much weight? No. Same exact thing. For the first 3/4 of my pregnancy, I only gained 8 pounds. When I share numbers, I would just want to say, I don't have an emotional attachment. They're just numbers to me, but I'm sharing them because, and I weigh in and I do all of these things inside of my VIP inner circle because I want to show, if I didn't do that, then I would have no content to share with you guys about how much your body fluctuates in different seasons. Pregnancy is a season. It doesn't last forever, even though the last month certainly feels like it does, especially when you're on bed rest. But I literally did nothing different. I only gained like 8 pounds up until the last month of pregnancy when I was on bed rest, and then I packed it on. Most of it was water weight. So the day that the morning that I knew I was in active labor, it happened to be my personal weigh-in day inside of my VIP group. So I stepped on the scale and I shared with everyone there that I was in labor and that my midwife team was on the way. And I weighed 224 pounds. I'm 5'3". 224 pounds. And a few hours later, after delivering the 10-pound baby, after delivering a 5-pound placenta, and after losing obviously fluids in the birth, I was 205. Again, 5'3". I'm now 2 weeks postpartum, and I did my weigh-in yesterday inside of my VIP group, and I was 184.8. So I've lost over 40 pounds in 2 weeks. What does that mean? I've been struggling to figure that out. And I've been, again, if you're not in VIP, the inner circle there, you should be, just to try it for a month to see if it's for you. I keep a lot of the content that I share in this personal journey of mine when it comes to like even scale and numbers and all of that, because the people who are there are vested every single day in the process. It's not like people who kind of tune in for one Facebook Live here and there, and then they kind of lose the messaging and they don't know what the process has been to get here. So even though I'm sharing these numbers publicly here in the main VIP or the main BBM community, just know that for me, I'm still trying to kind of sort through what this means, because I have never, in 20 years history of having babies, have I ever had a baby and weighed less after having a baby immediately after than I weighed the day that I got pregnant. Day that I got pregnant, I was 196 pounds. I'm trying to figure out what all of this means. Does it validate that I'm more worthy than the woman who doesn't lose anything in giving birth? No, because I've been that woman. Does it mean anything for my postpartum transformation journey and my own self-confidence and worthiness with being in my own skin? No. It's just a number for me to share publicly with other women to help empower them to realize that even though we feel like we have so much control over these things, our bodies are going to do what they're going to do. And right now, I'm just literally along for the ride. I am not doing anything that deserves to be celebrated for weight loss. I am eating all of the things. I'm eating enough for 2 grown men. All of the things. If you follow my Instagram stories, you see that. I am not exercising yet. None of that. I am literally honoring the postpartum period, the laying in period, letting my body heal and recover, and getting to know our babe, which is the most important thing. I think as women, when we give birth, we're celebrated a lot of times for the wrong things. How fast do we bounce back physically? How fast do we return to our normal life and taking on all of the things and being productive and returning to normal life? No. So I'm here showing you that the first week I didn't even leave the bed. I'm here showing you that, even though you physically can't see it on the outside, on the inside of my body, and every woman who gives birth, you have the wound the size of a dinner plate inside of your uterus that needs to heal. If you had a wound on the outside of your body that was the size of a dinner plate, would you be up running around, getting back to work, cleaning up after the kids, lifting up your toddlers, cooking dinner, all of those things? Heck to the no. If you could see it physically, would you be doing those things? No. So I'm resting, I'm recovering, and I'm focusing on the things that matter. So questions for me, I am ready for them. Again, it could be anything. If I don't answer your question, it's just because they're maybe going back too fast, or sometimes Facebook is quirky and doesn't show me all the questions. If you have anything for me, pregnancy, birth, postpartum, I'm ready for it. I actually already know one of the questions because I've done a couple of posts on this, adult diapers. I'm just going to share with you guys really fast. I'm going to put the baby down on her floppy pillow so that I can share this with you. You stay there, little bean. Oh, no, she doesn't want to stay there. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. Adult diapers. These are the adult diapers that I love. The brand is Depend, and they're not sponsored. So many questions after having a baby about adult diapers. When you leave the hospital, typically, they give you mesh underwear and a pad. And as a 6-time mom, the pads always shifted on me. I would bleed into the mesh underwear. They were miserable until I discovered with my pregnancy with Arwen, so 2016, that adult diapers replace all of that. They're high-waisted. The inside has a built-in pad. So it catches everything. They replace underwear. They're friggin' phenomenal. And I live in them for as long as I'm bleeding postpartum. I'm in them right now, and I'm not wearing pants because I plan to show you my stomach because I've been getting a lot of questions about this too. How did you do your home birth? You would love to not have to go to the hospital with all this stuff going on. So, why home birth is your why, just like with your with weight loss, with health, with all of that. Your why needs to be clearly identified. Why do you want to choose a home birth? If for you it's to have a different birth experience, to maybe mitigate your exposure to COVID right now. Whatever your why is, it's valid, but you need to have a clearly identified why, because you're going to need to draw on that why when you're in labor. For me, my why was back in 2011. My first two babies were born in the hospital. All of my babies have been born vaginally. I've not had a cesarean. That is the only birth experience that I can't attest to. I've never had a cesarean section. My first birth in the hospital, I was given, first of all, I was induced at 38 weeks because my baby was getting too big to be delivered naturally. She ended up being my smallest baby. I think she was 7 pounds, 8 ounces. They put me on Pitocin. I chose the epidural, except for the epidural didn't work. I forget what the official name is for it, but it only numbed half my body. So one half of my body, I felt nothing. The other part of my body, I felt everything. They then had to give me a block, which made pushing impossible. Then I had to have an episiotomy. It was just this downward cycle of events that caused a lot of trauma. So my second hospital birth, I said, they told me you can't have an epidural, and if you ever need to have a C-section, you'll have to be completely knocked out because you're part of like the whatever percent, 4% of the population that the epidural doesn't work for. So 37 weeks went into labor with Parker, my second baby, in the hospital, and couldn't have an epidural, had a ton of issues. Basically, like once I got into the hospital, my labor stopped. They put me on Pitocin, which makes your contractions absolutely crazy. They wouldn't, they kept me on my back. All of the hospital procedures that are designed to keep you safe in a hospital setting, they implemented. And then I got to the point with him where it was time to push, and the doctor told me, "Don't push yet. You're not fully dilated. If you put," did you guys hear that? That was a big blowout. "If you push, you're going to swell your cervix and you'll have to have an emergency C-section because it'll close and you won't be able to get them out." So anyways, I had 2 hospital births that were really traumatic. I'm leaving out tons of details just in the name of saving time. So when I got pregnant with Finley, I was a single mom, and I had thought that I was done having babies. Like my uterus literally did not get the memo that I was done having babies. I found myself pregnant with Finley. And as a single mom, kind of going, okay, I can't do a hospital birth again. I have so much unresolved birth trauma that I can't imagine going through this experience again, but not even having a support person. So by the grace of God, I found my midwife, who is still my midwife today, Lindsay Milas, here in Orange County, California. And I thought, you know what? I've delivered a baby naturally without an epidural while on Pitocin in a hospital on my back. I can do this at home. And so Finley was born at home, and it was the most beautiful birth and postpartum recovery period being in my own home. The connection that I had with my healthcare provider was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. Obviously, as a single mom, I was going through a lot of emotional distress and just being alone, and through that experience. And my midwife was not just a healthcare provider in terms of taking care of the baby, but she really provided the emotional support that I needed at the time to get through that experience. And the thing about midwives is that unlike OBs, they're not just responsible for maternal care, they also take care of baby. So they're trained medically to not just be obstetrical maternal care, but to also do pediatrics. So instead of going from an OB to a pediatrician when something goes wrong, or to have a pediatrician in your labor and delivery room, they do all of it. And that was really unique and special for me because of the connection that I had with her. So all of my home births have been water births. And just because you choose a home birth doesn't mean that things still can't go wrong. I had a beautiful home birth with Finley in 2011. And then in 2016, when I had Arwen, I had one of the most traumatic births at home that I have ever heard of. She was a shoulder dystocia. She got stuck. She was stuck for about 3 minutes, which feels like an eternity. They had to dislocate my SI joints, pop my pubic bone to get her out. And it took me a year. I had a prolapsed pelvic floor. It took me a year to recover from that birth. And it was really traumatic, which is why when Everly was born last year at home, it was the most redemptive home birth because I overcame all of that birth trauma. So I think it's important to recognize that just because you choose what you think is going to be a healthier option doesn't mean that that doesn't also come with risks, which are navigated the same way that you would in a hospital setting. It's just it's done at home. Everly was a beautiful home birth, redemptive, and then this little nugget came, and she was a shoulder dystocia too. She was stuck for 1 minute and 44 seconds. And what I love about her birth experience 2 weeks ago, and I haven't even shared that she was a shoulder dystocia anywhere outside of my VIP group, is that Arwen's birth was defined by that experience. It was like she got stuck. I had to deliver her and midwife's arms, full stop. That was like my birth experience. This was the most beautiful. If you've seen a couple of the birth images, there's a photo where I'm looking at my midwife and she climbed into the tub and she's just making the most intense eye contact with me, telling me that I'm safe and that the baby's here. And that was the moment after 1 minute and 44 seconds of her corkscrewing the baby out of me because her big old football shoulders got stuck, that I realized that it's not sometimes the trauma that scars us, it's how that trauma is navigated and mitigated, and it's that experience surrounding the trauma that helps you overcome it. And I always wondered if I had faced the same trauma again, and you can take this outside of birth, you could take this to like if you were in a really bad car accident and the situation surrounding the car accident happened to you again, would you react the same way? And this time for me, it wasn't a full stop. It wasn't a, oh my gosh, this scarred me for life and I'll never have another baby again because I'm afraid of that situation happening again. It was like absolutely incredible to get through that. So just a little bit of some words of encouragement is that there is a different way, and I just found it with her birth. So that's how we arrived at home birth, is you have to have a clearly identified why. You have to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then you have so much freedom of choice when you're in your own home about how you bring your babies into the world. It's the most family-centered. Our birth, especially this time, we allowed all the kids to make a decision. If they wanted to be in the room when the baby was born, they could. If they wanted to come and go, they could. With the exception of our 19-year-old son, everybody was in the room, in the bathroom when she was born. And it's just beautiful. It's literally, I don't even have the words to describe how amazing home birth is if that's an option for you. And it's not an option for everyone, and I wish that it were. Have you been able to breastfeed all of your babies? You're so scared you won't be able to. Yes, but it hasn't come naturally. A lot of people see me breastfeeding in Instagram stories and they think, oh, you've got this down. No. It's awkward. It hurts the first few days. It feels like you've got shards of glass on your nipples. Speaking of, favorite nipple cream, Boob Ease. Use it. It's incredible. It's natural, safe for baby, Put it on your nipples when you're starting to breastfeed. Toughen those suckers up. And yeah, why be in pain if you don't have to? Tips of the trade. Adult diapers, boobies. Get after it. All right. More questions. I'm sure I missed a ton while I was doing that explanation. Also, I just want to point something out. Postpartum recovery. Loose skin, belly binding, is your stomach retracting, all of those things. I almost did belly binding for the first time ever. Postpartum girdles, I've gotten so many questions about that. When you have a baby, your organs feel like they're free floating for a couple of days afterwards. What bugs me is when people say, are you wearing a girdle to help you retract your stomach and make it flat again faster? Wrong. If you need postpartum support to help support your organs, that's the right reason to wear a girdle or do belly binding. If you're looking to shrink your stomach back faster, start to think about why that's important for you. Think about your health over the cosmetic appearance. I didn't get belly binding done fast enough. Like I said, with her birth, the recovery period for me has been a little bit harder. I'm having SI joints, and I've had a little bit of a pelvic prolapse again that from the dystocia that I'm working through. So I wasn't able to get that done. But I'm not wearing any sort of support outside of my adult diapers. And I'm just going to put her down really fast and talk to you guys about the stomach. I know. Honestly. Let's just move things around here, shall we? Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay. She's not going to let me do this for very long. Say hi, babe. Say hi. Oh. She loves her hands by her face. I know. That didn't work out so well when she tried to come out. Okay, let's do this, shall we? All right. So, does binding prevent diastasis recti? So I have a diastasis recti series on the BBM app. It's a 10-part series. I have not checked for diastasis recti, and I'm almost 100% sure I have it because I had oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the term, and my midwife told me. I've had so many babies that my belly, when I get pregnant, the muscles relax so much that it's like a pendulum uterus or something where it flops forward, which is part of the reason she got stuck. So diastasis recti is where the abdominal wall separates. I have not checked myself for that yet because I'm only 2 weeks postpartum, but I do have a series for that inside of the BBM app, workout.bikinibodymommy.com. Okay, I'm in adult diapers. Adult diapers for the win. And I just want to show you guys something. When I post a picture and you're like, oh my gosh, your skin is so tight. It's a photo. It's a photo. Your body is meant to bend and fold and expand. Do I have stretch marks? Yes, I have stretch marks, you guys. Why? Because my body just expanded to grow my 6th baby. Stretch marks are normal. They're beautiful if you stop looking at them merely as cosmetic flaws and you recognize what a gift it is that your body was able to expand for that in your life. Do I have stretch marks? Yes, I'm covered in them everywhere. I'm so lucky because my stomach is so tight. No, it's not. This is a video. It's not tight. Is this disgusting? Maybe for some, not for me. It is what it is. Look. If you're loving this, by the way, this is me every day in VIP. So, for women out there who are like, oh my gosh, I'm so jealous of your stomach. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous you don't have stretch marks. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. You're ruining your self-worth. You're depreciating your value as a human being. And the gift, whether you brought life into the world and have stretch marks for that, or whether your body expanded through different seasons and weight loss or weight gain or whatever that is for you, stop demoralizing and devaluing your worth based off of those things. based off of those things. You're beautiful. These are beautiful. They're beautiful. Look at, do I have stretch marks? It kills me when people say that. You think I had 6 babies and have gained and lost over 100 pounds at multiple points in my life and walked away unscathed? Heck to the no. Heck to the no. And if you're the same as me, own it. Own it. All right, I'm grabbing my baby and then I'm coming back. Come here, Fussy. You're being a stinker. I know, you're being a stinker. I know. All right, guys. Oh, we might have to end this because she's sitting in poop and, apparently the boobie is calling again. So any other questions for me? We've covered pregnancy, birth, why home birth. We've covered adult diapers. We've covered boobies. We've covered stretch marks and loose skin. We've covered the laying in period. Oh, laying in period. A lot of other questions is, how did you and your husband arrive to the conclusion that he would give you that time? First of all, not everybody's situation at home is going to allow for every birthing mother to stay in bed with their baby for a week or 6 weeks or 30 days or whatever it is for you. Not everybody's situation allows for that. Spouses have to work. Other responsibilities sometimes take over. So for every woman out there who says you wish you would have had that, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be envious, and I'm also not saying that there's only one way to skin a cat. My husband is home full-time co-parenting with me, working alongside of me 365 days a year, 24/7. 24/7. Is that everybody's situation? No. So when we have our children, he has recognized, it started with Arwen, how important, because Arwen was born, she got stuck, we had the shoulder dystocia, and then she was transferred to a NICU. And that whole NICU experience and the birth was so traumatic that my midwife had told me when we got her home to get in the bath and to have a rebirth. Breastfeed her, get skin to skin, get in bed, and don't leave the bed for a week. Because I was so worried that separation and that trauma was going to affect our bond and our relationship. It affected my milk supply, it delayed it a couple of days. And so we did that, and my husband recognized how important that reset was and how amazing that bond and the connection and setting up our relationship was. You have to remember, when they're this new, everything is a first. Can you imagine? Like, every experience they have, every feeding, every change of a diaper, every time they put on clothes or they go in their car seat, it's the first time they've ever experienced that. And the way that babies, newborns process is so slow. It's so slow. Have you ever noticed a newborn, when they look at you, it takes them a while to focus, and they kind of do like the eyes, their eyes go all over the place, and it takes a while to build that relationship and to build and ensure that those firsts with your baby are what you want them to be. And so Jason recognized that the laying in period was really important for us, and he has stepped up to the plate, made all of the dinners, done all of the kid duties, and we have horses and chickens and we live on a farm. He's doing everything. We don't have family who lives close by. We have my aunt, who's 2 hours away, who did come up to help relieve him for 2 days this time. And she actually was there with Everly's birth as well. She came up and helped, which is huge. But we don't have a nanny anymore. We don't have family who comes and helps. We don't have that. So if you do have that, draw on the resources that you have. If your husband has to go back to work, maybe he can change his shift so that he goes in later in the day and gives you those couple of hours to sleep in and rest up and prepare for your day. If you have extended family, maybe you can schedule them to take the kids out of the house for a couple of hours for the first couple of weeks, so that you can have that time with the baby. So figure out what would work for you. And I think the biggest tip that I have with this is, and that I've honestly had to embrace this pregnancy for the first time ever completely at the end, was that asking for help doesn't make you weak. Asking for help makes you strong. Asking for help, relying on others is okay. Huge issue for me. My entire life is asking for help. So, or feeling like I was giving up by not doing it all. How many of you guys feel that way? That you have to do it all? You don't. It's okay to rely on your significant other. It's okay to rely on extended family if you have it. It's okay to ask your older kids to bring you a glass of water while you're feeding the baby. Ask for help. It's okay. So on that note, I've got a baby to change. I am going to go do that. Again, if you have not joined the Fall in Love with Fitness Challenge, please go do that. Today is the last day to get those 2 bonus gifts. And if you see anybody on my social media asking about my stretch marks or saying that they're jealous about my stomach being so tight, you feel free to chime in for me. She's not perfect. I have seen the stretch marks. I have seen the saggy skin. She's had 6 babies and has not walked away unscathed. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. Click the link in the description of this video to join that Fall in Love with Fitness Challenge. Again, it starts on August 10th. It's a $30 one-time entry for 90 days. It includes a 90-day meal plan, a 90-day mindset workbook, a 90-day fitness tracker. I'm forgetting things. Makes you eligible for over 30 weekly giveaways. And then obviously grand cash prizes at the end. Kind of awesome. Kind of awesome. Oh, little peanut. Oh. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.